Hi, I'm Rob Cosman. Welcome to my shop. We're down to the last few episodes on our drawer making series. This one, we're going to fit the bottom. I'm going to give you a few tips on how to get that just perfect, particularly if you're working with a solid wood bottom. It takes some finessing, and of course, there's probably going to be a problem or two we're going to have to deal with, but it's all part of the process. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss it. I'm Rob Cosman, and welcome to my shop. I forgot to show you the results of the repair we did, and I have to confess I couldn't stand waiting, so I did it off camera, but it was right there with just regular glasses on. Can't see anything. It was a small one anyways, minor, but just shows you can fix things like that with wood. Whenever you put two pieces of wood together, long grain to long grain, once it glues, it becomes one piece of wood. So as long as you have some decent contact. Love that drawer. Should hate it. All right, so in processing this groove, or pardon me, this tongue, we need to make a groove. And we need to make a groove. I wish I had done that, but I didn't. We got to go in and we got to match. We've got to essentially, that's what I'll do. Go over to the table saw, get something to fit that perfectly, and then cut another groove in a piece of wood so that we can come over here and use that as a guide. So let's go over to the table saw. In case you're wondering what that big pile of MDF is, my daughter number 4, she and my wife are building an apartment upstairs in the shop. And I've been too busy down here trying to keep up with orders. So they're doing it themselves. So this is door and window casing. It'll be all painted some shade of white. I cut it for them earlier today. I hate the dust from it stuff, but we had it pretty well figured out. Okay, so what I want to do first is cut. We know it's less than 3/16. Now, I need to move that piece off, so I'll just hit that with the saw. I'm going to do it in the cherry just because it's a little harder. And it won't...
Harder?
The wood is harder, so it won't...
Isn't the holly be harder?
Huh?
Isn't holly harder than cherry?
I don't know, I think cherry's a little harder. That was a lucky guess, by the way, because that's exactly what we want. So now what I'll do is cut a groove. Okay, so that's an ideal fit. I'll just show you. So that it doesn't spread the sides at all. It just goes in there, but there's just enough friction that won't fall out. So now what we can do is use this as a gauge, and I kind of wish I had used a piece of hardwood, just because you multiple passes with this and it starts to wear. Okay, that's still too big. What did I do with my skew block plane? There it is. Now, when I've got it that close, I'm going to pull that blade back in, so we're not taking off quite so much. I thought that held better than that.
Yeah, you gotta tap in the center.
That's staying now. Well, the good news is it's pretty uniform. A little tighter at that end. So I'll pull the blade in some more. I'm going to take a pass from about here. I'm going to take one complete one. Tight there. Excuse me. So we will we'll definitely do a shop tour, and thank you for the feedback. Always helps when we know what you're interested in. So if you want to continue with that along that vein, meaning tell me what videos you'd like to see. We just kind of have to try to guess at what you want. Kind of like throwing mud at the wall. Tell us specifically what you want, and we'll try to oblige. Okay, so that's the fit we want. That's a little bit too tight. Still too tight. Now that's a straight shot, so I should be able to go all the way down. But I can't. Tight there still. I prefer this fit right here, because I know what'll happen. As soon as you put that in, it spreads the bottom of that slot, and next thing you know, it jams in the opening. And if you're thinking, why don't I use the router plane, is because this has been planed, it could be a little higher in one spot than it is in the other. So router plane always references off of this, making this surface parallel to it. I don't want that. I need this surface to be parallel to this bottom surface. So I really don't know any other way of doing this other than just what we're doing, a little bit at a time. Okay, so that first 2/3 is good. Gets tight right here. Just a little bit snug. Just curious to see if I can still see the line. Can't. Okay, that's pretty good. Now we can scribe or pick that thickness up with the marking gauge and go in and redo the rest of those so it'll be precise.
Why don't you grab your steel rule?
Yeah. Yeah. And that should be it right there. Okay, that's good. Now we'll do this one.
So shouldn't you just do a light mark?
Wait a
Shouldn't you
minute
just
now.
do
How
a...
could that be that much? Is that the one I've already... That's the one I just did. Can't be. Shoot. That's nowhere near the same. How did I... That's not even close.
Check it. It looks thinner in the middle.
I just do it by eye. All right. Well, that's not different enough from the previous one to make any difference. So we'll just have to run it.
This is a long grain cut, so you could take...
Yeah,
Heavy
bring that
patch.
out. I'm surprised at how. Now that is only digging in the corner, and it shouldn't be. When I sight down there, that blade is not. That blade is parallel to the sole, but it's not. Can you stand there for a minute and just kind of look and tell me whether I'm leaning in?
No, not enough.
That looks to be.
Yeah. Tap on them. You look really close down here.
I could have done this on the table saw. I just find that that aspen, that thin, is so flimsy. It's hard to keep it tight. I could have done something with a feather board. Anyway, this is quieter. Try that. Too thick. Too thick. Too thick. Retract the blade. And how that moved. Easier to adjust the fence than it is to move the blade. Yeah, I brought it in too far. Tight,
Check down here at the end.
tight, tight. Tight. Still way too tight. Start right about here. Okay, so this is good. Oh, I'm just gonna put a mark on that. Where's my pencil? So stay away from anything beyond that. A little too tight. Somebody said that Lee Nielsen's taken this off their website. I didn't. I didn't check. I can't imagine.
I've looked within 2 weeks.
And they're still there.
Yeah.
And I think give credit where credit is due. Tom Lee Nielsen is helping us supply each vet that comes to our workshop with a skew block plane. He donates 2 mortise chisels for every vet and has for the last several
Skew block plane is still
classes.
available.
Huh?
It's still available.
It's still on there, so they must not have found it. He's selling them to us at a discount for the vets. But that's That's a big favor. I tip my hat to him. So throw some business his way if you're looking for a skew block plane. I prefer this one over anybody else's. Okay, perfect. Little snug right there, but that's going into the front, so I'm not worried about it. What I'm worried about, if it's tight along here anywhere, by the time you force that down, the friction builds to the point where you destroy the thing trying to get it in. This is the last part to go into place, and I want that to be a little bit snug. Get a better glue joint. All right, last one.
You sprung up.
What's going on, Jake? Do we need to put in a new mark on there? Huh?
Why do you say that?
Well, because it's not the same. Is this?
Well,
I must not
remember.
have. Right, I
had to-
cut this one. I thought I already had done that, but obviously I didn't. That's the gauge mark. Several light passes are always easier to control than trying to do it with one heavy one. Oh yeah, that's right too. Is that? I thought I went in and used the chisel to take off that little bit of extra. I can't remember, but
Must have been on the other side.
now if I didn't already tell you this. This just is easier than trying to go in and balance the skew block plane. Well, it sits on that little piece right here that I'm removing. The surface we're working on is narrow enough as it is, but to try to balance that on this and do an accurate job is tougher than it needs to be. Okay, check that. Ah, shoot. Dang it, I did it again. Ah, mother. Crap.
Do you think that was the one that you did it to? No.
What? No, I just, every time I adjust this. So the problem with this particular plane, and it's not an error in the plane, is that there's no support for the blade over here. So when you adjust, there's nothing preventing it from going off to the side. Mm-hmm. And that's what it did. It got out beyond my great gauge line, and it made a mess. Well,
You can plane it.
I can plane it, but it goes down really deep. Really deep. Shoot. Oh yeah, we're supposed to get a t-shirt that says shoot on it. Okay, what am I going to do?
Well, the other thing you can do is what you did on the bottom of the...
Bevel it?
Yeah. Add that shallow bevel.
Yeah, what am I going to do that with? I don't want to go back in and have to bring this back way up to there. What have I got that I can cut that with? Well, while I'm thinking of it, let me go in and fix this. Which just means adjusting the fence to keep it away from that edge. I'll look over here and see, and that little step seems to be, that surface is parallel to the rest of them, so I am not tipping it.
You should check it now.
How's our time?
27.
Okay, pull this in. Just a little bit stiff right there.
Is it a little stiff at the beginning too? You're tipping out.
Huh? This way?
Yeah, that was tipping out.
Feels good. Maybe just a little bit. Okay, that should be good. Just set the camera down for a second. Just let me think about this. I didn't want to plane that down anymore, but I pulled out the other drawer, and this one is This one is 9/32. This one is thicker than that, so I might be able to plane off just enough to get rid of that. This one is, well, 10/32, so 32nd of an inch. 32nd of an inch, which is just about how big those tears are. So I think rather than go in there, and then I didn't want two different ones. I don't want to take this one out and have to go in and bevel it. So what I can do, I'll plane that down, and if I have to, I can take a little extra off of this side. You'd never notice it, and I can get rid of those tears. So which way were we planing this? Do you remember? I think that way, because I remember that blister being on this side, closest to me. Okay, what have we got that's thin enough? Probably nothing. Oh, we had that piece, didn't we?
Right. Yeah, the right side. It's right there.
The what?
The plywood. Got that? No, you put this across.
Right, to keep that down.
You can move that clamp closer.
It's not going to make much difference.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah.
This stuff is so soft, I'd like to have something. Can you push your finger on this?
Yeah.
It's right here. I don't need to put a pencil mark on that. It's blatantly obvious. Now we're going to see if I can take a fairly heavy cut so I can get this done a little quicker. So I'm not going to worry about plane tracks right now until I get closer. I'm taking an even heavier pass. And the only reason I wouldn't is if it was tearing bad.
You can probably drag back now.
With that heavy a pass, I can. It's the wispy ones that you get in trouble with. I want to keep that relatively uniform.
You're starting to dip in this corner.
Yeah, I see that. I'm taking too heavy of a pass, but it's only in that one area. Okay, I'm going to stay away from that. I'll just finish that off with lighter passes. Okay, that's almost gone. One more pass will do it, so I'm going to pull the blade in, catch up over here.
Wipe this off. Wait.
So, if you see that area right there where it's torn, can you see that? Just by having a lighter pass, I should be able to get rid of that. We'll see if I can. Less pulling on the fiber. Providing your blade is sharp. And you can watch the tearing disappear on the shaving. You see how it's torn right there? That'll just eventually come off as a nice clean shaving. And that's how you can tell that your surface is improving. Okay, so we get rid of that. That torn area is now gone. We're better down there too. So now what I'll do is, with a light pass, I'll just concentrate on improving the whole surface. This is where this stuff is stringy. So there. Still a few little spots. The shaving's a little bit heavy on the left side. So I'll just make a slight adjustment. Still got some plain tracks, but we got rid of that torn up area. Can't see myself ever trading this in for a belt sander. And I have two belt sanders and I use them, but only in areas where I can't use a plane. Actually, I use my belt sander more for planing brass than I do anything else. Now I'm just going to go in and fine tune this. Feel for any marks. Okay, that feels good.
40 minutes.
How many?
40.
We're at 40. Okay, we'll stop there. On our next tomorrow, what we'll do is go in and do the final fit, and it's a little bit of friggin' in order to get that in there just right. But we'll go in, get that to fit. We've got to cut our slots in there. I can't remember whether we did 1 or 2 in the other one, and secure it to the bottom. Trim up the back. And then that will bring this to an end. I can't go any further. I can't go any further with this until we do it with this, and this is part of our online workshop. I might just do a little bit to, we will do a final fit. We'll put the drawer bottom in. Whatever that does to the drawer, we'll deal with it, and we'll just work to get that final fit right there at the end. Okay, remember, if you like this, if you enjoy it, then please subscribe. Button's right down there. Hit that bell. That tells you when we release a new video. Share it with other people that you think may enjoy it. And apparently this like thing is a big deal, so you go ahead and give us the likes. Appreciate you watching. Hope this is helpful. See you tomorrow.